But good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley, and with me, as always, from Pigtown Sports, he is Zach Moore. Zach, good evening. How are you today?
Good, man. How's it going?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Went out to Pittsburgh to visit some buddies of mine for a few days. Just got back this afternoon. Didn't get a chance to catch the Pirates' complete shellacking in the series sweep of the New York Mets. They outscored them 30-4 in that three-game series. So none of it. We did get to sail on, not sail, but ride a pontoon boat on the three rivers around the stadiums and all that right before we got blasted by a storm. So good trip all in all. Nice weekend for the Orioles as they take 2-3 from the Tampa Bay Rays. Before we get into that, I want to remind you today's show is brought to you by Classic 5 Golf. Do you want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun instructional programs for the beginner golf. For the beginner golfer to everyday players, the Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com. I'm thinking about giving them a call because I played my worst golf of the year between Wednesday and yesterday. I played 4 straight days, and I think my best round was a 94, and that was on Wednesday. I've been shooting in the oh my God, man, I've been shooting in the low to upper 80s, anywhere from like 82 to 88 the last month or so, and then 15 of the holes on Wednesday, I played really well, but 3 of them I completely blew up. It took 2 9s and an 8 on those 3 holes. Otherwise, I would have shot. If I just doubled each of those holes, I would have shot like an 88. So, just not a good week of golf for me, but an up and down week of baseball for the Orioles. Today's game, they get 5 runs on 10 hits. Everybody in the lineup reached base at least once, and only Jackson Holliday failed to record a hit. Gary Sanchez and Ramon Laureano stayed hot with 2 hits apiece. The team went 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position, 14 for 37 in the series, and they hit like 336 they've hit like 336 with runners in scoring position in the month of June, which is, I believe, tops in baseball for the month. Dean Kramer continued a run of hot starts recently. His last 3 starts, 2-0 with a 1.02 ERA, allowing 2 earned runs in 17 2/3 innings, and that's including today's start, where he goes 7 innings, allows just 3 hits with 6 strikeouts and just 1 walk with no earned runs. We talked about the calendar turning from April to May with Kramer, Zach, and since the beginning of May, he is 5-3 with a 2.98 ERA and 11 starts, covering 66 1/3 innings pitched. 7 of those 11 starts, he's allowed 2 earned runs or less. Now, when they're bad. It gives up 4 or 5 runs. But in 4 of the starts, 4 or 5 earned runs, but in 7 of them, 2 earned runs or less. So he has a sub-3 ERA since the beginning of May. And it was a weird series, right? Because last week in Tampa Bay, or in Bradenton, I guess, Tampa Bay came back from an 8-0 second inning deficit to win that game 12-8. The Orioles repaid the favor on Friday, down 6-0. After the top of the second inning, they scored 22 runs from the bottom of the second inning on just absolutely destroy Tampa Bay pitching, and they win that ball game 22-8. Tomoyuki Sugano gets the win in that game despite allowing 7 earned runs over 5 innings pitched. And then yesterday, man, this team just can't put up an offensive outburst 2 games in a row. They scored 22 runs on Friday. They weren't scoring anything yesterday. They lose that game 11-3, and it took a 2-run homer from Laureano in the 9th inning to make that game 11-3. But nice bounce back victory today to take 2 out of 3 from Tampa Bay. They're now 4-3 in the season series against Tampa Bay. What did you see from the Orioles in this series? Do you think that they've turned a corner offensively? And then I want to get a little bit into Zach Eflin and Tomoyuki Sugano, because they have been quite bad over the last month or so.
Dude, this team, I put it on Twitter earlier, this team's bipolar. They either just look like a really competent playoff baseball team one night, and then they just look horrible the next. And there's no putting your finger on it. Like, I don't understand it, to be completely honest with you. I don't understand it at all. Every time I think they may have turned a corner, they haven't. Not even remotely close. At this point, I'm just going to watch. Yeah, and I'm not going to just get myself excited if they would you'd like to continue to hit the baseball, we'll say 5 out of 7 days a week, I'd be very excited. But I don't want to make any more predictions. This team's just so inconsistent. I can't put my finger on any one thing. It's causing it. Some games they just want to look like big leaguers, and some games they don't. So I don't know.
Yeah, that Texas series, for example, was, and I'm trying to remember exactly how it went. I know that it was weird. I know it was weird what they did there. It was game 1 against Texas. They go out there and they managed to win that game 6-0. That was after back-to-back demoralizing losses to the Yankees. Yeah. They go out again on that Monday, and they win that game 6-0. They get a hell of a start from Trevor Rogers. He goes, 8 innings pitched and allowed no runs on 3 hits. And then they go out on Tuesday, and a guy, what was his name? Latz? What's his first name?
I don't even remember. I think that's like he's a nobody.
He goes out there and he no-hits them through 6 innings, right? And they're losing that ball game 4-0 after he no-hits them. And then the Orioles get 5 hits or 4 hits in that 7th inning, including back-to-back home runs. They take the lead 5-4. You're feeling good. You go to the top of the 8th inning, and Soto immediately walks the leadoff hitter, who then steals second and then scores on a base hit. And any momentum that you had from scoring those 5 runs and hitting those 3 homers in a row to take that lead late in that game, any momentum is now gone.
You don't hear something that'll make you really sick?
I guess.
That was Jacob Latt's only 2nd start of the year. He's a bullpen guy, and he was an opener that day. And went 6 innings, no hit ball against us.
Well, in his previous game, out of the bullpen, he had gone 5 2/3 innings.
Yes.
So I think that they intended him to get some innings for them.
Yeah.
In that game, I don't think they intended on 6 shutout innings and him pitching into the 7th, but they were planning on.
He only went 2.1 today.
Yeah.
With no hits.
So this is a guy who he's been pitching well, but and look, it would make me sick if I didn't recall an 11-day span. I think in an 11-day span back in 2007, the Orioles lost a game 30-3. They gave up an 11-run inning to Tampa Bay at home, and they got no hit by Clay Buchholz in his 2nd career start. So I've seen some ugly from the Baltimore Orioles in my day. So, but yeah, it's not good. And then, but the thing is, Zach, they should have won that game. They get 5 runs in that 7th inning on 3 homers in a row. And then Soto immediately walks a guy, lets him steal a base, and then he scores on a base hit. And I think it was on a sac fly. I don't think it was on a base hit.
Soto got the inning where it was the ghost runner or whatever, right? And it was like a wild pitch was that what it was? I remember there was 2 steals.
Who lost?
Gary couldn't throw the guy out. God, I can't remember now.
That was Dominguez. Dominguez lost that game in extra.
Dominguez, inning. Okay.
Dominguez lost in an extra inning. Soto got the 8th, or was it Cano? Did Cano get
No, Cano's been down in AAA.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They sent him down 4 days ago, I think.
Yeah, but that was before the Texas. I mean, that was after Texas.
I don't remember now.
That was a Tuesday game in Texas, which would have been 5 days ago. But let
me pull up the play here. Let's see. Key moments. It was bottom of the 10th, right? No.
Bottom of the 10th is when they lost that game. Or top of the 10th is when they lost that game.
Wild pitch by Dominguez. It was Dominguez. Okay.
Yeah. So
it was that terrible tag play at the plate. That's right.
Yeah. It was, on last Sunday, and then again in that game on Tuesday, where Gutter makes a terrible throw home on one play, makes a throw home on another, and Sanchez drops it. Laureano could have thrown a guy out at the plate, and Sanchez dropped it on Tuesday. Gunnar, awful throw to the plate. Didn't get it out there, and it was Soto. It was a leadoff walk. The guy he gave up a run without giving up a hit.
Yeah,
it was a leadoff walk. The guy stole second, and he scored on a sac fly. And then the Orioles just they went hitless the rest of the game. They did not score, and that was at a point. And then the next day, they go up against, and look, you knew this game was over before it started. When you have, what's his name? Why am I forgetting the guy's name? Brandon Young. Brandon Young coming back from an injury, making a start against Texas, and they're countering with Jacob deGrom. And Jacob deGrom goes 7 perfect innings. Yep. 7 perfect innings before Laureano leads off with a single in the, or was it Calzer? No, it was Laureano. Laureano leads off with a single in the 8th inning. The Orioles lose that game pretty handily, if I'm correct. I think they lost that game like 8-1 or something like that. Just not a good performance from them. Then they go out and they have that big comeback victory against Tampa Bay, and then sure enough, Eflin, inning pitched 4 earned runs. He leaves with a lower back strain. I didn't realize until yesterday or today that he left with an injury, because I just thought that Manzolino was like, we have to win this game. We have to at least try to win this game. He's not coming back out for a second inning after the way he threw that first inning.
For him to come out and just be like, oh, my lat still hurts, I'm trying to pitch through it, I've changed my arm angle and stuff, that just pisses me off. Like, you've only hurt the team. Yeah. He said his lat wasn't 100% healthy, but it wasn't like he didn't need to spend any more time in the IL, but like he just couldn't locate pitches. And I'm like, dude, you've gotten absolutely shelled since then. Like, your last start with giving up less than 3 runs and going at least 5 innings was on June 11th. So like your last 3 starts have just been awful. Just absolutely awful. I was sitting behind home plate yesterday. The ball was straight as an arrow. Straight as an arrow, 0 of movement. Now, granted, I even yelled at the umpire probably 3 times in that inning. The dude missed some calls, some outside corner calls that were clear as day strikes. He didn't get. Could have changed the inning a little bit, maybe, but the ball was just right down the middle. I mean, the one Aranda hit, to the moon was like 90, belt high, 0 movement. Like, it was literally like a BP fastball. Like, Buck Britton could have threw that. It was rough to watch. And I'm looking at it, dude. I just posted it. The Orioles are dead last with just 35 starts this year. With their starter has gone 5 or more innings, allowing 3 runs or less. Dead last.
It's awful. Well, and you look.
And Sugano leads the team with 9, and he has 0 in the month of June.
So you look at what Eflin did, his first 12 starts dating back to last year with the Orioles. 7-3, 2.70 ERA, 10 home runs allowed in 12 starts. He hits the IL, and since coming off the IL, he's 4-4 with a 7.16 ERA and 14 home runs allowed in 9 starts. And I was going to ask you, because you've been saying this for a few weeks now, that you think he's still hurt, and then he comes out and he says, my lat isn't 100%. I've been pitching through it because I felt like I didn't need to rehab anymore. And there's something to be said for trying to be a gamer and get back and help your team, but you're clearly not helping your team. You're clearly not the same pitcher. I mean, you're looking at a guy now who has a 5.95 ERA. Was supposed to be a 1 or a 2 for you this year. And so he's going to hit the IL. I say, don't bring him back until he's 100%. Like, you have doctors who are supposed to tell you this, not the player. Okay, so if the doctor is telling the team, hey, he's not 100%, he doesn't pitch.
Or maybe they did, and he just physically wasn't there, right? Maybe they just said, look, there's nothing on scans. We've rehabbed him. Like, we can't get him any more healthy than he is, but he's just not there. We don't know. It's just been ugly. It's been downright ugly to watch.
Yeah. And then you look at Sugano through June 3rd, 5-3, 3.04 ERA, 11 walks, 40 strikeouts, 71 innings pitched, 12 starts. He was averaging literally just under. He was at 71 innings pitched, 72 innings in 12 starts would be 6 innings a start. In 4 starts since, he's 1-1 with an 8.15 ERA, 7 walks, 12 Ks, 17 2/3 innings pitched. That's just over 4 innings pitched per start. And that one win, he gave up 7 runs in 5 innings.
Yep.
These are the 2 guys that Sugano, you didn't know what you were getting out of him, but he was so good through the beginning, his first start in June. And he's just been absolute garbage since then. Eflin, 2.70 ERA in his first 12 starts with the Orioles. You're like, we've got an ace here while we wait for Bradish to get back. And then you find out Grayson's hurt. And then Sugano only goes, 3 innings in his first start before he has to come out with dehydration and cramping and all that. And you're like, oh man, well, at least we still got Eflin. Then Eflin gets hurt, but then like nobody has been pitching on the same page. And watch, they'll come back and start pitching better, and it'll be just in time for Kramer to give up 7 runs in 6 innings.
Probably.
So there are some updates that we have for the Orioles starting rotation. Kyle Bradish, he threw another bullpen, and he's leaving the team this week to throw live BP in Sarasota. So that's the next. I think that's the final step before you start a rehab assignment. Pretty much. Throwing live BP. Then they see how you feel after that. They see what the results are. Then you start. He's probably going to make. I'd imagine anywhere from 6 to 8 rehab starts.
Yeah, I mean he'll probably throw live BPs. I'd say probably 4 times first. Mm-hmm. It'll be a little while, and they'll double check everything, and and they'll span it out over 5 days. So he'll be down there for a little bit. And same with Wells. I mean, we're looking at the end of August probably.
And the thing with Wells, he also threw a bullpen. They said that he's about a week behind Bradish in reporting to Sarasota. But Mansolino said he doesn't know if Wells will be a starter or a reliever when he returns. Just wants everybody to get healthy. Grayson threw a bullpen that consists of.
You know why he says that, right? Because I feel like they're going to just about to trade half the team. They don't know what spot's going to be open and what's not.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I don't know that you can trade Eflin at this point. Sugano, maybe.
I bet you there's teams around this league that say, look, if he's healthy, and they'll check his medicals, we can fix him. We saw what he did last year. We've seen what kind of career he's had. He's a decent career guy. If he's healthy, we'll take a chance. So I don't think he's totally lost all his value, but getting that, that top 6 prospect probably out the window.
Yeah. Grayson, bullpen that consists of nothing but fastballs and breaking balls, so he's moving along. Suarez playing catch, still no timetable there. Povich,
he's only 80%.
Yeah. Playing catch?
No, just in general. He said the scans look good, but he's only feeling about 80%.
No, I think anything you get out of him is a bonus. Last year he was great and really did an admirable job filling in with Grayson after Grayson had the lat issue again. But I'm not anticipating anything out of Suarez this year. When they said, I mean, they said he's been just playing catch for over a month now. Those are the updates that we've been getting for over a month. So I'm not counting on Suarez for anything. Now, Cade Povich, he made a rehab start in Norfolk on Thursday. 5 runs, 3 earned, a walk, 3 strikeouts on 75 pitches. He threw 4 1/3 innings. I don't want him in starting rotation.
I think he's coming back for Eflin.
I think he probably is.
Because I believe his 15 days are up tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it's Tuesday, which would put him on 2-3 more days rest before his start anyway.
Sure. And I look at Povich, and so now you're going to have a rotation of Sugano, Kramer, Povich, Rogers, and
Morton.
The crazy thing is, this series in Texas, you're going to get Morton and Rogers in 2 of these 3 games, and I think the other one is going to be Sugano on Wednesday, right? So unless they move Povich up to Wednesday and move Sugano back to Friday to try and get him rest, I could see them doing that. It would be 6 days rest for Povich. I could see them doing that. So maybe, and I know that they were saying that Texas doesn't hit lefties very well. So if you can go Rogers and Povich twice in the series, 2 lefties in the series, maybe that bodes well for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, look, the Orioles, they bad series against Texas. They come back, they take 2 or 3 from Tampa Bay, who's the hottest team in baseball since the middle of May. So that's good. But again, they're treading water. They're not gaining any ground. I think they're still 7 games back in the wild card. They're 36-47, 3-3 this week after going 3-4 the previous week. They've got to start stacking some wins, and we got to stop having these big wins where you're like, oh, they turned the corner, 22-8. You're like, oh man, maybe they turned the corner, and then they get blown out the next game. They get blown out a lot. I feel like 1 loss every series is a blowout.
Yeah,
it seems like they've got to right the ship here, put some things together. Feels like the bats are doing a great job. Little concerned that Gunner's just not hitting for power. That his 1 home run in the last month really is off of a position player. Same
Right.
thing with Mayo. Mayo's first career home run. Oh, who'd you hit your first career home run off of? Oh, Tampa Bay's a utility infielder.
I know.
Like,
That poor
like
guy.
I know, right? Um, Sean Whipple, he says, I think we need to keep Laureano, Cowser, and Sanchez hitting together. What do you think about what Gary Sanchez is doing? Because he is a downright horrendous defensive catcher. But since he's come off the IL, tearing the
He'll
cover
get
off the
traded.
ball.
I think somebody will look for a good right-handed bat that could, be a DH or a backup catcher, whatever. We'll see. He'll fetch something for us.
I think he gets traded too. I was thinking that while I was preparing for the show beforehand, that he's probably going to get traded. So then who do you bring? I mean, they brought in, what's his name? Jacob Stallings?
Stallings, yeah. They'll probably bring Stallings up.
Bring Stallings up. He's probably on the taxi squad.
Well, Hanley should be 7 days should be this week. Early this week, I think.
Yeah, but that's assuming that he's okay, that he comes back from the concussion protocol. Sometimes those things are quick. Sometimes they drag out. Ask Brian Roberts and Justin Morneau about concussions, But then Chadwick Trump, for our pick to click, did anybody pick him? Did anybody pick Chadwick Trump to go deep?
Nobody ever would.
Yesterday?
If somebody did, it was a troll job.
Right. But look, the Orioles, they're hitting. Cowser had 3 doubles the other day. He had a nice RBI hit today. Sanchez has been tearing the cover off the ball. Laureano feels like he's just been steady hot. Like if he goes into a slump, it's something like where he goes like 1 for 9, and then he goes like 10 for his next 27 after that. But how are you feeling about the offense? Do you think the Orioles will do anything to add to this offense at the deadline?
I hope so. I mean, Ramon Urias might get traded, maybe.
I don't think you can though, because Westbrook.
I don't think you can either. But with him having 1 more year of control, look, I think they said like the Yankees. There's like 4 teams that were really interested in keep Brian Hayes. Like, cool, he's 28. I understand it. He has 1 more year of control too. He's hitting like 239 with like I think just 8 home runs in the last 2 seasons. Like, why would you trade something for that over Ramon Urias? Granted, yes, I understand he's 31, but like this is a consistent hitter with another year of control. Why wouldn't you go after that? I don't understand these teams. Like, if you're gonna try and make a push, don't do it with Key Brian Hayes. Like he gives you nothing. Cool, he steals a couple bases, but you got to get on. You don't get on enough. You bring him over to the AL, but there's pretty good pitching, especially in the AL East for the Yankees. Like, what is he going to do for you? Nothing. Why not go after Ramon Urias? Like,
Brian Hayes took 1 good half season, not even 1 good 24 game stretch, and turned that into a big contract. And he's been
right.
I mean, his best OPS plus since his. I mean, he in 2020. So yeah, it was a half season, 24 games. Finished 6th in Rookie of the Year. He had 376 with a 1124 OPS, 201 OPS plus. Since then, his best OPS plus is 103 in 2023. Right. He's been 88 or worse every other year. And this year, he's at a 64. My God, man. Dude's just stealing money.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, look, can you really depend on Jordan Westburg? He just hurt the same finger again, sliding into the bag. He's got to learn to stop sliding head first. Or if he does slide head first, learn to not jam your finger into the bag. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me that these guys keep jamming fingers. Him, Austin Hayes, like how do you keep doing that? That's why they have the oven mitts. Does he wear the oven mitt?
Don't know.
But look, the team has been hitting a lot better. Really great runners in scoring position the entire month of June. I do think they need to add a bat. I just don't know what bat's out there. The only one that comes to mind is Marcell Ozuna. And are they going to be...
He's going to be hot for everybody, I think.
Yeah. There's going to be so many teams that want to add him because he's under... This is his last year of team control. He's free agent at the end of the year. And if you can get that kind of a right-handed bat for a nice playoff push, the Orioles are going to be... they're going to have company trying to get his services. Joe Radke, he says... did you guys hear the interview Mel did with Bluette on the radio? He said, without saying, Atlanta clubhouse has issues.
I think that's pretty apparent.
This is news to me.
Yeah, but you could tell by how that team has been playing.
Yeah, they have too many stars to be that bad. Uncle Ted moved Calzer back to leadoff. That's interesting.
I think he's doing just fine where he is.
Yeah, he is, and they're not going to do it because Tony Manzolino just said that Jackson Holiday's your leadoff hitter for the next 5 years. Now Manzolino's not going to be around.
Calzer still strikes out a lot too.
He does.
I mean, not that Jackson doesn't, but I feel like Jackson's settling in there pretty well, and Calzer's, they're doing well in their roles. Calzer's he's a guy that drives the ball. Not that Jackson isn't either, but I mean, he's an all or nothing kind of guy. When he swings, he's not getting cheated. Jackson will shorten it up and hit the ball to left field kind of thing. Calzer's going to look to hit that ball 600 feet. There's just different players, and I think they play their roles right now really well.
Yeah, and like you said, where he is, I no longer feel like he's going to strike out in a big situation. I feel like he's been putting the bat on the ball a lot more.
He has, but yeah, I agree.
He still strikes out, but when he comes up and there's somebody on base, I have a lot more confidence that he's going to get the job done, or at least hit the ball hard somewhere.
He's been seeing that change up a lot better.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. We saw this back in spring training when he was full go before he got hurt. He was hitting everything. He was tearing the cover off of everything, and we're sitting there and we were like, if he can hit the off speed stuff the way he is in spring training. Now he goes from being a 240 hitter last year to probably a 270 hitter this year, and he's probably a 30-plus homer guy. And I think we're seeing that now. You have Calzer from the start of the season through now. He probably leads your team in home runs and RBIs, and I don't think that there's a question about that. So I like him exactly where he is. I think that the Orioles' main issue is that they consistently have somebody like Laureano or O'Hearn batting fourth. And look, they're both having great years. I'm not hating them. They're not four hitters. If you want to contend and your offense, you want your offense to be elite, your four hitter has to be a guy that drives the ball out of the ballpark on a regular basis. And I mean, you've got 20 home runs between Laureano and man, I say that so Baltimore. Laureano. You've got 20 home runs between Laureano and O'Hearn. Your four hitter should have that by himself.
Yeah.
He should have that by himself.
So just from the DH position this year, the O's are hitting 218.
Man.
Yeah, that's bad.
No, and that's because they have Adley DH half the time and Gary Sanchez DH the other half. Well, Gary was hurt.
Yeah.
But
O'Hearn's hitting 256 as a DH with just 13 RBIs.
Yeah.
The problem is look, the fans are going to be upset when Ryan O'Hearn gets traded, just for the fact that one, he gets traded, but two, the return that they're going to get for him is not going to be very good.
Right.
When you have a guy like him, as big as he is, plays the positions that he does, and not drive the ball in as often as he should, that return's not going to be very good. And people are going to lose their mind.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be less than what Mancini got.
It kind of blows my mind that he's a front runner for the All-Star game this year.
Nobody else is really doing all that good. Like Ben Rice started hot and then just got just dead cold.
Mm-hmm.
Devers, I think, was a walk in the park at it. There was another guy that I think is I forget who it was. I have to go back and look, but they were shooting up the boards and they're likely going to win it. I forget who it was, but
Aranda is not.
I think
even
that's
on
who
the
it
ballot.
was.
Is it Aranda?
I think he's going to
DH?
shoot up the ballot here really quickly in the next couple weeks.
Because I know that he wasn't on the ballot as a first baseman.
He will be a coach's ad. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Or player.
And is Gleyber Torres having that good of a year, or is he really?
Yeah.
I know Jackson's having an okay year. Like Jackson's having a great year considering the fact he's 21 and what he looked like last year. But I don't think he's like, they keep talking about 755 OPS his last 250 plate appearances. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a hater. I don't know. I just, when I hear 755, that doesn't blow me away.
So Brendan Donovan as a second baseman is hitting 333. Xavier Edwards right now is hitting 322. Glaber's hitting 297 with 9 home runs and 40 RBIs with just 35 strikeouts.
Glaber must have had a big day today because he was.
Yeah, I mean Jackson's got 10 home runs, but he's only got 30 RBIs.
So what did Glaber do
with 70 strikeouts? So Jackson's got 35 more strikeouts than Glaber and 10 less RBIs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So that means Gleyber Torres, Tigers won 10-5. That means Torres must have 4 hits. No,
this is as of yesterday, so it doesn't even show today yet.
He's hitting 2. Wait, that's yesterday. That's yesterday. Today's
this is only as a second baseman on the season.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, Torres went 0 for 3, so he's down to 281.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess maybe he must have DH'd a couple times or something.
Yeah, or played like third base or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's played 63 games so far this year at second and 8 at DH. So he's probably had a couple good days at DH.
Yeah.
But I wanted to throw something at you here.
Yeah.
The Orioles have only scored 5 or more runs 31 times this year. Can you take a guess where that ranks among baseball?
31 times?
Mm-hmm.
They've scored 5 or more?
5 or more.
Dead last would be too easy, but I'm going to say that they're 25th in the league.
Very close. They're 23rd. Very, very close. So 23rd, 25th would have been 29. Dead last is actually Kansas City with only 18.
Wow.
Here's the worst part. The pitching has given up 5 or more 41 times. Where do you think that ranks?
27th.
4th. So I guess about the same. 4th.
Yeah, that'd be
sorry.
That would be 27th in baseball. As far as
you're right. 27th.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're 5 and 36 in those games.
It's just a microcosm. People talk about.
But I will say, so Houston's only done it 22 times, and they're 3 and 19. So giving up runs, obviously, you lose games. Somehow the Dodgers are 18 and 23 when their pitching allows 5 or more.
Well, that's because they have
57 guys on IL.
but their lineup's not on IL, and they have how many guys in their lineup? You have Freddie Freeman, former MVP, Mookie Betts, former MVP, Shohei Ohtani, former MVP.
All 3 of them are Hall of Famers. Let's just be real.
Yeah, they're all 3 of them are Hall of Famers. Freddie Freeman, man, he just keeps going. What's he hitting, like 340 this year?
Yeah, it's stupid.
That dude is incredible.
Make it look so easy too.
He's such a likable dude too.
Yeah.
Like I can't even hate on him for being on the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman's the man, and he's a great defender. Well, yeah, I mean, like, look, people talk about, and you hear it on the morning show around here all the time, where they're like, "What's wrong with the Orioles?" And Rob's like, somebody will say to me, "What's wrong with the Orioles?" And don't tell me the injuries. Like, well, then we can't talk. We can't talk. Well, no, you can talk because you knew that Bradish and Wells were hurt before the year. You knew that Grayson ended the year on the IL and that he's been hurt most of his career. You knew that Eflin had only had 3 seasons in 9 where he made 28 starts or more. So you can talk about, you can say, don't tell me the injuries, because your main issue has been that your pitching has given up 5 or more runs 31 times. And what did you say they are in those games?
What did I say, 31?
3 and 29 or something like that, or
5 and 36. 41 times or 5 and 36.
41 times they've given up 5 runs or more, and they're 5 and 36. That's a direct result of your pitching not being any good, and is a direct result of Mike Elias signing nobody this offseason.
The White Sox have done it 33 times, and guess their record.
0 and 33.
They're 1 and 32.
My God.
That's why I started laughing. I saw
you laughing. I was like, it's got to be ridiculous. It's got to be ridiculous.
Can you put up Birdland Network here? His chat, 23 runs scored, but 11th in home runs, all or nothing. So the Orioles have scored 5 or more runs without the home run 4 times. Guess where that ranks?
5 or more runs without a home run?
Without a home run.
4 times?
4 times.
It's got to be like 28th.
16th.
16th.
16th. So the leader is 12 with Milwaukee. And then and the Orioles are at 16th with 4, and they're 2 and 2 in those games.
It's middle of the pack, right?
The Athletics have 1. And they're dead last.
Yeah. I mean it's middle of the pack. I mean, it's home run or nothing throughout the entire league. It's not just the Orioles. And look, the Orioles team leader in home runs is 12, and it's Cedric Mullins, who's hitting 210 this year.
Right.
So it's not like they're just a beer league softball team. Gunner's lack of power is mind-boggling to me. You're talking about a kid that was tearing the cover off the ball in the minors, comes up to the majors, hits 28 homers in his rookie season, 37 the next year, and he's got what now? 8?
Yeah.
8 home runs in, what are they, 36 and 47, so that's 83 games. Or is it? Yeah, that's 83 games. In 83 games, he's got 8 home runs. Or 77, 76, because the one game he didn't play. He's got 8 home runs. What happened to Gunner's power? Did they tell him to stop selling out for home runs and just start driving the baseball? Because he's hitting a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, I've looked at his swing track and all. It's almost the exact same as last year. And I put it on Twitter, the only little thing I seen, it's like he's hitting the ball maybe like 2 inches deeper in the zone. That's the only difference from last year. And he's like 1 mile an hour less in his swing. So he was 76 last year, 75 mile an hour this year. That to me is nothing. That tells me nothing is why he has no power. Other than maybe the ball is just getting a little deeper, but I highly, highly doubt it.
I mean, you look at him in June, 326, 420 on base percentage, 453 slugging, 873 OPS. All of these numbers, every single number that he's put up in June is his best of the year, except for the doubles and the home runs.
Mm.
He's walked 12 times in the month of June, but only struck out 20 times. He had 13 walks in May, but had 32 strikeouts. So he's making a lot more contact. His total OPS plus is 124. Yeah, he's making a lot more contact. He's driving the ball. He's getting his base hits. He's not driving in a ton of runs. He's got 25 RBI this year, and he's got 9 home runs. Mm-hmm. That's not what your shortstop, your all-star MVP caliber shortstop should be doing. He needs to have more than 9 home runs and 25 RBI. But I mean, he 275, 348 with a 7. Like his OPS is only so low because his slugging percentage is 439, and it's still 787. He's just not. He's still hitting the damn ball hard. I don't understand why he's not hitting it out of the ballpark.
Right.
And even then, he does it against a position player, and it barely got out. And I get it. You got to generate a lot more of your own power when you're facing a position player. But his lack of power has just completely blown my mind. And then Cedric Mullins, man, what are they going to do with him?
Apparently, Houston wants him pretty bad.
Well, then go trade him.
That's what I said. Jose Fleury and call it a day.
Before we continue with that, today's show brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. If Houston wants him, who did you say they would be willing to give up?
Jose Fleury. That's who I would ask for.
Well, I'll tell you. Tell us a little bit about Jose Fleury while I figure out what's done.
Right now, he's 3-1. He's pitching in Double-A. He's 23 years old. He's 3-1 with a 1.82 ERA in 10 starts. He's got 39.2 innings pitched with 37 Ks and a .88 WHIP. 6 foot, 185 pounds. He started in 2022 in the Dominican League. He's got a career right now, 3.02 ERA in 247 innings. And that comes with 313 strikeouts. I love the guy. An A-ball in 2023, looked at it. It was probably his best year, 98 innings, 140 strikeouts. Opponents hit 182 against him. Career-wise, they're only hitting 193 against him. This year in Double-A, 188. Look, you got a guy with 10 starts hitting 188 in Double-A at 23 years old. I put it on Twitter. Get Mullins and then ask them for anyone else they want that's reasonable and get that trade done.
Yeah. I mean, you look at what Mullins is doing right now. On the season, going into today's game, he was hitting 210, 295, 412 with a 707 OPS. And that's only because he started out so hot at the plate. On April 28th, Mullins went 2 for 3 to put his batting average at, I think it was 292. From April 29th on, 40 games, 158 plate appearances. He's hitting 161 with a 197 on base percentage and a 526 OPS. 526 OPS in 40 games. 7 doubles, 6 home runs, 7 walks, 48 strikeouts. 48 strikeouts in 40 games and just 7 walks. And he's only got 3 stolen bases in those 40 games.
Right.
So, and he was hurt for a little bit, but the dude's just not hitting. And we let him, and it wasn't even, we got Colton Cowser by him this year, because it was the first 2-3 weeks of the year he was tearing the cover off the first 3 to 4 weeks of the year, tearing the cover off the ball, and ever since then, it's the worst I think he's ever looked. I mean, this is the worst Cedric has ever looked. He's either going to pop out or strike out every time he comes to the plate, it feels like. And his base hits have been bunt singles recently.
Yeah.
That's what he had today. He had a bunt single and he had a walk and a sac fly. I love Cedric. I do. I'm so happy for what he's done for this team since he got here in 2018. He's got to go. The time, especially when you've got Dylan Beavers, who's got an OPS above 1,000 at AAA right now, hit 324 on the year, just hit a grand slam the other night.
I think he's hitting like 390 this month.
Yeah. Like Beavers is ready. You've got Cowser can play center. What happened? Did Dylan Carlson get sent down?
Yeah, for Emmanuel Rivera, because they weren't sure if Westberg was going to hit the IL or not.
See, I was.
You have 7 infielders right now, which is a little ridiculous.
I missed all of that. I missed the roster moves. I didn't realize that Rivera was back. Did that all happen like after the game?
I think it was yesterday.
Okay,
but they still have Vasquez, Rivera, Westberg, because they're not going to put him on the IL apparently. Apparently he's going to be back, so I mean maybe Carlson comes back. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah, Carlson's been hitting for 6 weeks now.
Yeah, he's been doing well.
He's been very consistent. But I mean, look, you can start Cowser, Laureano, and Carlson every day.
Mm-hmm.
You can call up Beavers and give him an opportunity to play in center field.
I would. Maybe if it's not center field. I mean, let Cowser play center every day and put Beavers in the left.
Yeah.
And just finish the season out.
You've got, like, you don't need Mullins anymore, and he's hurting your team. The defense is fine, but he's hurting your team from an offensive standpoint, and you have plenty of other guys who can play good defense in center field. You don't need, you saw the catch that Cowser made today in left field. Hell of a catch. I'd rather have Cowser in left field than center field. Okay, I want somebody a little bit faster than Cowser out in center field. But, like, look, you may not replicate Cedric's defense, but here's the other thing what a lot of people don't realize is that his zone rating is not that great. Cedric's zone rating is not that great. So a lot of these balls that he lays out for and catches, it's because it's balls that other guys it's guys who are like a Dylan Beavers who is faster, probably catches that on his feet. For me, the writing is on the wall that Cedric is not going to be here beyond the deadline. If he is, he won't be here beyond the season. He's not getting an extension here. You can't. He's hitting 210.
Do you want to hear something weird?
Sure.
So, they have that sprint speed metric or whatever, feet over second or something.
Mm-hmm.
Cedric and Ryan Mountcastle are pretty identical.
They always have been since Mountcastle got here.
That's pretty scary.
Similar. Yeah.
They have Cowser rated at a 27, which I don't believe. Because I remember last year he scored home to first in like 11 seconds, which is like, I think it was like 2 or 3/10 of a second slower than Ellie De La Cruz. So he must not have sprinted much this year down to first base. But guys that are currently faster than Mullins so far this year are Tyler O'Neill, Kobe Mayo, Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holiday, Jordan Westberg, and Jorge Mateo.
Yeah.
And Westberg and Mateo are neck and neck.
Yeah. Mullins has never been particularly fast. He's just a good base runner, and he takes good routes to baseballs in the outfield. But I mean, like, he's faster than you or I are. You and I are.
I don't know if he's faster than me.
I don't know. I don't know.
When I was younger, maybe.
I don't know, but he's not like a good base runner like Brian Roberts. Brian Roberts wasn't particularly fast. He was fast, but he wasn't like a world beater with his sprint speed, but he was a good base runner.
Yeah.
Cedric is a good base runner. That's why he's able to steal bases. Look at how fast Jackson Holiday is. Holiday is like, I think he's up there with
His
Jorge
jumps
Mateo.
are so slow.
He gets
they're terrible.
He gets bad jumps. He's not a great
apparently that's why
runner.
Chandler Simpson was set down once already, because his routes in the outfield, even though he's like the fastest guy in the league, his routes are god awful, and he misses like just routine plays in center field. Now he's back right now, obviously, but they said that his defense was just horrible.
Yeah, there's plenty of guys that can take over for Cedric, and you're not going to tell me that over his first 40 games, Dylan Beavers is going to hit 160 with a 195 OPS. I mean, a 195 on base percentage. That's not going to happen. So like, I'm not trying to jettison people out of town, but I'd much rather spend up to the deadline or from the deadline on figuring out what you have in Dylan Beavers than trying to let Cedric ride off into the sunset.
You got to do the same thing with Judd Fabian too. You can't keep him in AAA. He's 26 or something, isn't he?
See, I think he's getting traded. I think
Fabian's but if he's not, traded. I mean, he's only 24. So if he's not getting traded, like, you got to figure out, like, can this guy play in the big leagues, or are we just going to keep him in AAA and give him the Kyle Stowers treatment?
I think that Judd Fabian in the big leagues is going to be that dude that hits 230 tops. I think he's going to strike out 200 times a year. I think
he'll play really good defense, though.
I think he'll hit 25, 30 home runs, strike out 200 times a year, and play good defense for you.
So he's Kyle Stowers.
Yeah, but probably a better. I think he's a far better defender than Kyle Stowers,
for sure.
But I look
taking away from Kyle, because Kyle's pretty decent, but Fabian's just that good defensively.
And see, I just don't think that there's a need for Judd Fabian on the post 2025 Baltimore Orioles. I don't think fair. I don't think there's a need for him, because you've got Bradfield coming, you've got Beavers coming, you've got Kowser already. Laureano's having a great year. He's got an option for next year, and then that's before you even start talking about Enrique. We already said Bradfield, but that's before you start talking about Vance Honeycutt. If he can figure it out,
he might get hopped here by Nate George here pretty quickly.
I was about to say Nate George, since getting to Delmarva, and that's the guy who was telling me he was like an Olympic track runner, wasn't he? Like, stupid fast. Just he gets to low A from the Florida Complex League, and he's better. He's better than he was in the Complex League. I'm very interested. Like, you put him on my radar, and he is firmly there now after seeing what he's done at Delmarva this past month. The speed is ridiculous. Like, there's plenty of guys where I think Judd Fabian is worth more to the Orioles as part of a trade package than he is as being a future outfielder for them. I just don't see how or where he fits on this roster. Today's show brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Jacob Webb, Buck Showalter, Orioles Chief Marketing Officer Mark Fine, and much more, find them all now in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio, or right here on Facebook and YouTube. I just want to get into the AL East roundup here real quick. Brent Rooker and Nick Kurtz each homered, the latter driving in 3-back 5 2/3 shutout innings from JP Sears as the A's stymied the Yankees 7-0. And every Red Sox starter had at least 2 hits except for Jared Duran, who went 0 for 3 but did walk twice, as the team collected 4 homers and 6 doubles to back a resurgent performance from Lucas Giolito, who allowed one unearned run in 7 innings as Boston smashed Toronto 15-1. Those are the only other 2 AL East games, because Red Sox played the Blue Jays and the Orioles played the Rays. So only 3 AL East games this week. I do want to talk a little bit about Gary Sanchez, because he's been tearing the cover off the ball. You and I both agree that he's likely to get traded, but how long do you think the wrist was bothering him before he finally said something and had to go on the IL? Because what he's doing right now with the bat is, one, he's better than he's been in probably 8 years hitting right now. But are we reading too much into a month worth of playing time? or is he?
I think that's what it is.
You think so?
Gary hasn't had consistent playing time in probably 5 years. Other than when he's like, I think he was at the Mets and he got good playing time, but he kind of struggled a little bit. I think because he knew Francisco Alvarez was kind of on his heels. But I mean, him getting hurt was probably a blessing because he got to go down and get everyday at bats in Norfolk. And then he started kind of seeing the ball well, hitting the ball well, came up here. Then there was, we faced a couple of lefties, so he got some at bats, and then all of a sudden Adley gets hurt, and then now he's just there every single day. And him just getting consistent at bats right now, leading up to the deadline, was just a blessing in disguise for the Orioles because he's hitting, and I mean his value is pretty decent. So they'll get something out of that. Maybe a team's like 28th prospect or something like that, 29th, maybe not even a top 30. I mean, I don't know, but.
His 235 batting average right now, if the season ended right now, would be his highest batting average since he had 278 in 2017.
Right.
I mean, that's bad. But he in April and March, the season's first month, he had 12 games, 10 starts. He hit one. He was 3 for 30 with 4 RBI, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts. In June, in 11 games, he's slashing 342, 419, 684. That's an 1103 OPS, 4 home runs, 14 RBI in 11 games. The dude's having a hell of a month. But that defense is just so terrible. So what are we looking at then? If they're going to trade him, I guess you get Rutschman back. And
his July career numbers, he's a 168 career hitter in July.
He's a big boy, and it's stupid hot in July.
Yeah, that's not good, though.
Yeah.
Then he goes back up to 268 in August.
Well.
So we need to trade him before July.
Well, that's Tuesday. So trade him tomorrow.
Oh, no. Yeah, trade him tomorrow.
And that's the thing. Like, I do believe he gets traded. It really depends on what happens with Adley. I mean, if the Orioles are making a run and Adley, his injury takes him into mid-July, maybe the third week of July, you can't trade Gary.
Yeah.
You can't, because he's hitting and you only have really 2 healthy catchers. And then when Adley comes back, if they do trade Gary, who's the backup? Is it Chadwick Trump or is it Maverick Hanley?
I was really impressed yesterday with Trump's pitch framing. I didn't really pay attention. I'll be completely honest with you. The heat started to bother me like the 4th inning, so I really stopped paying attention. But so I didn't really pay attention to like his pitch selection, like how he was calling a game, like I did with Hanley. But either one of those guys are leaps and bounds better than Adley and Gary both when it comes to just catching the ball and just making it look good. Either one, it wouldn't matter. I mean, Trump is 27, 28. He's been in the big leagues, 4 years. He's had, that was just his first career home run, apparently. I mean, Hanley's
his first career, wow.
Yeah, Hanley's had 40 at bats. Could he be the same kind of guy? Sure, could be. We don't know until you give him playing time. But Trump's only won a 1-year deal. I mean, me personally, I like what I see out of Maverick Hanley. I would give him the at bats the rest of this year and let him groom into your Caleb Joseph, who's your backup catcher for years to come. Like, you don't have to pay for it at that point. Like, why do you have to keep paying a backup catcher every year? You paid McCann, $5 million, $6 million. Now Gary's got $8 million. Like, why not save that money when you have Maverick Hanley? That's just me. I don't know.
I get it. I get it. I don't know, man. It's tough because at least you know that Gary's hitting right now.
Yeah.
You know that Gary's hitting. You're gonna get good defense, but good defense can only take you so far. You got to start hitting the baseball. And
well, you don't know. I mean, he's only got 40 at bats. He was hitting 380 something in AAA. It's not like he can't hit. Just needs to learn it up here.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. But I think we can both agree that he's getting traded. That Gary Sanchez.
Can you put a Dietz comment up here?
Yeah.
That's a good one, and I really don't know. I think it's the very last comment.
Mets offer Jonah Tong for Mullins, and the Astros offer Fleury for Mullins. Which offer are you accepting first?
I don't know. You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Tong's really good, but Fleury's really good too.
Yeah,
I think
Tong,
Tong's
though,
younger though.
I think Tong's younger and throws like triple digits. I think he's got like a crazy strikeout to walk ratio. While you're looking that up,
He's only a year younger actually.
Somebody asked about Tyler O'Neill.
I would probably take Tong too, I think.
Yeah.
Mainly just because it's the Mets. You don't have to worry about the AL. But I don't know. Maybe I want to take away another AL team's decent arm.
I get that, but
yeah, I don't know.
Is Fleury pitching in the minors or the majors right now?
AA, same as Tong.
Yeah, I think I would take Tong. I think Tong has more upside.
Yeah,
I think he throws harder. I mean, either way, they're both going to need Tommy John surgery, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. I remember looking up Tong a couple of weeks ago and being like, wow, he's having a big year.
Apparently, he's untouchable. So we'll see. I don't know.
No, but yeah, let's talk about the idea that they're going to offer you Jonah Tong for Mullins. That's probably not going to happen.
Tong, I think you could probably get for Mullins, Soto, and Honeycutt, and I would do it.
Okay, I get that. I don't think that's unfair. But again, I don't know, man. None of them are great at this point. You know, are you giving away 3 mediocre players to get a guy who instantly maybe
he's only their 16th ranked, so that's their fault, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that too. I mean, Tong, he immediately becomes arguably your top pitching prospect, right?
For sure. Yeah.
But
that's how bad our system is.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody did ask. Dental office said, any updates on Tyler O'Neill? Is he going to play 1 month this season?
I think he went deep today for Bowie.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry.
So he started a rehab assignment back on June 7th. He had a couple of hits on June 8th and June 10th, but then he had the shoulder inflammation. Came back again June 22nd, went 1 for 9, and then he has 1 hit in each of his last 3 games, including the home run today.
Yeah.
But all of his hits, except for that home run, have been singles. So he's hitting 286 on his rehab assignment. 286.
Now I will say too, though, Billy don't hit nothing, so maybe he's just falling right in line. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're pretty bad.
Yeah,
I got another trivia for you here.
Okay,
the Orioles have hit 3 or more home runs this year in 11 games, and where do you think that falls?
3 or more home runs in 11 games.
In 11 games.
I'm going to say top third of the league. I'm going to say it's 9th in the league.
They're 10th.
10th. Okay.
Now, you want to take a wild guess what their winning percentage is in those games?
Well, I know they just lost a game where they hit 3 home runs. They lost a game where they hit 2 home runs. What their winning percentage? Do you want me to guess the winning percentage where their winning percentage ranks? 26th.
24th. They're 636. They're 7-4.
7-4 when they hit 3 or more home runs. You should
not
know
who's the best.
It's got to be the Yankees.
Nope, not even close.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Cincinnati's 11-0.
Okay.
Milwaukee's 9-0. Kansas City's only 4-0. That doesn't really count. The Mets are 14-1. St. Louis is 9-1. Detroit's 13-2. Boston's 11-2. Chicago's 16-3. The Yankees are 11-4. So their pitching's been a little rough too.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to see how many home runs we've given up in a game. 2 or more times. Wouldn't that suck?
How many?
Let's see. Home run equal to or greater to team filter. Who's given up the most? Arizona, 34 times they've given up 2 or more home runs in a game. The Orioles are 6th at 30. And the Mets are down there at 14. They're the lowest.
There was a season, even back, it was like
5-25 in those games that we've given up 2 or more home runs. 5-25.
Well, you also think about how many games they gave up like that game against the Yankees where they gave up 4 home runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
Right.
Golly.
How many games did the Orioles when they just weren't scoring runs?
Yeah.
Give up 2 or more home runs. That's got to be a big bulk of them. But
what do you think is a good strikeout number for pitching? Like for a whole team during a game?
For a whole team during a game?
Yeah, like what would you consider to be good? 7?
9.
9 a game?
9 a game.
Let's see.
That's 1 an inning.
Okay.
I don't think that's too much to ask for, especially when you look at how much this league strikes out now.
You want to guess where we are?
In strikeouts?
No. Striking out 9 or more in a game.
Striking out 9 or more in a game? They've done it like 12 times.
34.
Really?
And they're 20th.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Who leads? Don't tell me. Let me guess. Who leads the league in strikeouts?
I think you'd be pretty surprised with the top 3, honestly.
I'm gonna say Boston's in the top 3.
Nope. Not even top 5.
Really?
Top 5 kind of surprises me too, really.
How about well, Tampa pitches pretty well. How about Tampa?
Nope.
Texas?
Nope.
Detroit?
They're 4th.
They're 4th.
4th.
Okay. And the Dodgers are too beat up. I don't think they're in the top 3.
They're 10th.
Okay. Who's in the top 3?
Houston, 55. And then the Yankees at 53, which I think we kind of expected that. Philly is who surprised me at 47.
Okay.
3rd. And then Minnesota at 42. They're bad.
Yeah. Are they that bad?
They're not terrible. Their offense sucks. Let's just put it that way. Their offense sucks.
Yeah.
Their pitching's all right.
Oh, by the way, Max Scherzer started the other day.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. He started on Wednesday. He went 5 innings, allowed 3 runs. So
here's a good one for you. So in those 34 games, we are 15 and 19. And that is the 28th overall winning percentage at 441.
I mean, how many games did you see Povich strikes out 6 batters the first 3 innings?
10 and lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Dean Kramer will strike out 8 or 9, but give up 5.
Morton did too. Didn't he? I think he has 2 games this year. He has 10 strikeouts and a loss.
I'm pretty sure. He allowed that one start back in April against the Twins. He struck out 10 in 5 innings, but he took the loss. He gave up like 5 runs.
Yeah.
And then he had another start where he went 5 innings and he didn't allow a hit. Or he allowed 1 hit and he struck out 10.
Yeah.
And that was when they had that big rain delay. But
I like this. I paid for StatHead today, so I'm going to really get all the stupid stuff today.
I saw you post something about that.
I was so mad, dude.
You were using
so
StatMuse?
Yeah, I used StatMuse. So I wanted to see who had went 7 or more innings this year, giving up no runs. And I put it in there, and it was like just 16 people. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like scrolling through it, and I only seen Dean Kramer on here once. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, because usually they're up to date, and it only had today's game. And I'm like, I know that he did this against the Royals. Kind of weird. So I signed into it, and all of a sudden it went up to 36 people. Okay. Framer Valdez was on there twice, and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And I'm still like, this isn't right. Like, the Orioles have done this themselves a good bit of times, but it's only showing Dean Kramer and Trevor Rogers. Something ain't right. So I tried on StatHead, and of course it only shows you like the first 10 or something. It's like, you got to pay for it. And I'm like, that list looks pretty damn long. It's $9. I'll pay it, whatever. And then it's 106 after I pay these $9 that have done this. And I'm like, what the hell, StatMuse? I'll never use it again.
I think that it's money well spent for you because you're somebody that's going to use that all the time. Yeah. You're going to use it all the time. I think that's money. If there's anybody that should be paying for something like that, it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So today's show brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. If you're feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself, it could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, they specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. So call Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills at 443-264-5600. 4454 or visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's 443-264-4454. Let's get into Take the Rake here. You took Ryan O'Hearn this past week. Did you look at the notes?
Nope.
All right. You took Ryan O'Hearn. I took Colton Cowser, including today. How do you think this went?
Probably not very good. I'm not very good at this.
You take good players, man. They just
suck when I take them.
Yeah. O'Hearn, 2 for 16, 4 walks, 4 Ks, a home run, and an RBI. Cowser, 6 for 18, 3 doubles, 2 walks, 2 Ks, 3 RBI. So I won. So I'm gonna
start taking Chadwick Trump just every week, just so everybody else plays pretty well.
Right. I'm gonna take Gunner. Who are you realistically taking?
Oh God, I don't want to make anybody suck this week. Give me Mullins. I'd rather, if Mullins is gonna suck, let's just keep pounding it on.
If Mullins goes like 9 for 25 this week with like 3 home runs,
I'll bake him a cake.
You should bake him a cake and say, "I bake him a cake." This says, "I still love you, Cedric," with a picture of him robbing a home run.
Yeah.
Dental office. They are 11 games under 500. There will be no playoff push. They better be big time sellers. What is a big time seller for this team, Zach? Because you're not like, are you just trading everybody that's on an expiring contract? Is that what a big time seller is? Because you're not getting rid of Westberg, Gunner.
Yeah, no, you're not getting rid of anybody like that. You got to keep enough players on your roster. I don't think there's enough quality players in AAA. They're going to sell what they can for a decent price to retool. I also think they're going to buy, if that makes sense.
It does. And I think you have to do both.
Yes. You got to get the team ready to compete in 26. Right now, you don't have a 4th starter or 5th next year. You don't have enough pitchers. So you got to attack that. You have to find a way to get yourself some depth in AAA too. They can't pitch. And you've taxed the bullpen tremendously in Norfolk. You gotta kind of get that together. You could move some guys up from AA. Are they ready? Probably not, but whatever. I think you got to try and find a bat next year. I don't care where they play, whether that be first base, whether you bring up Asayo. I don't know. You got to figure out where the hell he's going to play, because you want him to catch. Why do you keep putting him at first base? He made a couple diving plays the other night, which is good to see. I mean, he's a young athletic player. I think the bat's probably ready, but make a decision where he's going to play.
Well, here's what I think they're preparing for, because Mike Elias said in an interview today that the bat's ready. He pretty much alluded to the fact that the bat's ready, and that he's not going to get all of his catching seasoning at AAA.
Okay.
To me,
why?
Well, I mean, like, it's just like Gunner came up in August of 2020.
Yeah, but Gunner played one position.
Yeah. So
I don't understand that.
This is what I think they're planning on doing. I think they're planning. If I'm reading between the lines here, O'Hearn's all but traded, right?
Sure.
So I think they're trading O'Hearn, and they're planning on splitting time between DH and first base between Mayo and Basayo, and letting Basayo catch on the day. And Gary's getting traded too, and letting Basayo catch on the day. So Adley needs off.
Is Manuel Rivera here because O'Hearn's about to be traded any day?
No, Emmanuel Rivera's here because I think because Westberg, right?
But he also plays first base.
I don't know. I don't think that they trade him before the All-Star break, because he's going to be
what kind of package somebody gives you.
Yeah, I just think it's too early for O'Hearn to be traded, but I think that O'Hearn is as good as gone after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
But I think that you're going to see Mullins and O'Hearn traded. You could see Gary Sanchez, and I think you're going to see one. I don't think it's going to be Sugano. I think it's going to be Eflin.
Give me your honest opinion on O'Hearn. I don't think they're getting much for him.
My honest opinion on O'Hearn is he's a 32-year-old DH who can play some first base, who can play some outfield, and this is the best year. I'm not going to say it's the best year he's ever going to have, but I think he's more valuable to the Orioles in a trade. And people think that I hate O'Hearn. I don't hate O'Hearn. I just think that when you have a young team with top prospects at the positions that he plays, I was shocked that he was still here to start the season.
Yeah.
And look, I'm glad he was, because he's been one of the few guys who's been consistent all year. But the dude, the positions that he plays, and for his size, he does not hit enough home runs. He
doesn't drive the ball.
He doesn't.
Period. Like,
he doesn't.
He's got 149 career RBIs for this team in 1,000 at bats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that's 2 seasons worth of at bats basically, and you've given me 150. Like it sounds good, but he's only got 30 this year. 30 RBIs in 230 at bats. Like, I'm sorry. Like, people are going to be really upset at the trade offer that they get for him. Yeah.
What people need to understand about
He's
Ryan
got more
O'Hearn,
walks than RBIs.
Yeah. Ryan O'Hearn is a really good. It's like if it was the NBA, he'd be like the 6th man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Steve Blake.
He is a solid, valuable player for your team. But on a really good team, do you think Ryan O'Hearn plays every day for the Yankees?
No. Not like, I mean, maybe with their injuries the last couple of years, but
Ryan O'Hearn is a guy who probably should be playing 3-4 times a week. You get him in there against righties, as like he'll start a couple times. He'll come in as a pinch hitter late in the game. If it's a lefty on the mound, he's on the bench. He's never going to be a defensive player because he's not a good defensive outfielder or first baseman. He's a DH only, and like he's a solid player. But people in Baltimore fall in love with Steve Pearce, Ryan O'Hearn type players.
I think Steve Pearce is way better.
Yeah. Well, Steve Pearce was better. Steve Pearce hit for far more power. Steve Pearce was a World Series MVP.
Right.
You know?
And look, don't get me wrong on O'Hearn. O'Hearn's got an 855 OPS, which is good, you know, but when you really look at it, he's got 30 RBIs. Like, cool, you hit doubles all day long, but
that's also not his fault.
Is that an Orioles fault?
That's the Orioles' fault.
Okay.
Or, I mean,
do you think another team sees that?
Yeah.
You think so?
I do. I mean, look, we talk about Jackson Holliday and how he's going to be the Orioles' leadoff hitter for the next 5+ years. He isn't. I mean, we talked about this on the show last week. He had 7 straight at bats where he didn't see a ball. He's far too aggressive to be a leadoff hitter. And if he's not getting a base hit, then he's not getting on base. And then you have O'Hearn if he's batting 3rd or batting 4th.
How weird is that for Jackson?
Like,
dude sets a record for the most walks in Norfolk, and then he comes up here and like doesn't see a ball for 9 straight at bats.
Well, they're probably telling him to be more aggressive.
Maybe.
Find your pitch and hit it. You know, that'll settle down. He's going to be an elite player in this league for a long time.
I think what he's doing at 21 is pretty decent.
Yeah. But the thing with O'Hearn is he's either how often is he coming up with nobody on base? You know,
right.
Or you know what I mean? And he hits a lot of hard ground balls to the right side to turn into double plays, I feel like. How many double plays he grounded into?
I took it off. I haven't looked.
I'll find it real quick. But I just
wanted to
feel
look
like
at 21-year-olds.
Let's see.
I just want to see where Jackson's kind of stacking up against some of the other ones. Who do they got? We got Caminero, Holiday. I'll throw James Wood in there. I know he's not 21, but I'll throw some of the younger guys in there. Caminero, Holiday, Merrill, and Wood. I want to see what these guys compare to this year. Ooh,
and then
James Wood and Caminero really drive the ball. Good Lord.
So let's see. Ryan O'Hearn is second on the team behind Heston Kjerstad. He's tied with Adley Rutschman with 7 double plays grounded into. Heston Kjerstad has 9.
Yeah.
Man, Kjerstad down at AAA, he is just not getting it done. Oh, man.
Yeah, so Holiday...
I'm telling you, Heston Kjerstad's going to get traded.
No, he's not getting traded. He has 0 value.
Not this year, but he may get traded somewhere and hit 30 home runs for somebody.
I don't know.
But go ahead. What were we saying about Holiday?
So I looked up Caminero, Holiday, Wood, and Merrill. Holiday's hitting 262. Merrill's hitting 301. Wood 281. Holiday 262. Cameron 259. Home runs though. James Wood 22.
What about Churio?
Churio, yeah. Who's the other one?
He was all. There was
Jackson,
Churio,
right?
Merrill, James Wood, Jackson.
Who else?
Yeah.
There's somebody else. I'll throw what's his face in there from Texas. What's his last name? The left fielder.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh God, what the hell is his name? Oh, Langford. I think he's a little bit older, but I'll throw him in here anyway. No. I think he's a little bit older. Let me see. Langford's 23. I'll throw him in here anyway. I don't care. So anyway, out of all these guys, Holiday has third best average. Churio's 256, Langford 223, but home runs he's fifth out of sixth with just 10, and RBIs he is fourth with 33, and that's because Merrill's been hurt. Other than that, Merrill would probably be way up this list, but strikeouts, he's third. Well, basically tied with Langford, who's got 76. Jackson's got 75. And James Wood's got 100. I'll take 100 Ks out of a guy hitting 281 with 22 home runs and 64 RBIs. James Wood's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's crazy.
OPS, Holiday's fifth out of six. Basically, him and Wyatt are tied at 729. It's not good. Compared to these other guys, at least. Like, he hasn't taken that step like he should have. Slugging, he's dead last. On base percentage, somehow he's third. K percentage, he's third. Walk percentage, he's fifth out of sixth. WRC plus, he's fourth. I don't know. Hard hit contact rate, he's last. He's doing well. I just don't think it's well enough, in my opinion.
But, how many of these guys also hit the ground running like Merrill and Churio did last year and James Wood?
It's not often, but I probably shouldn't even be comparing them, to be completely honest with you.
But then, the Holiday, when he's 23, 24, 25, he's going to be one of the best players in the league. You know that he's going to be hitting over 300, hitting 20-plus home runs, stealing 20-plus bags, and he's also doing it as the pressure of being the 1-1 player just 3 years ago, the pressure of who his dad is, and the pressure of being the leadoff hitter for a team that's the biggest underachieving baseball team in the league.
He does the truth.
It's and he has no protection, right. Man. Gunner's not hitting home runs. Who's bat second for this team? It's usually Adley, who's hit 200 for a calendar year, and they don't have a cleanup hitter. He's got no protection behind him. There are some circumstances where, look at Jackson Merrill. He was batting ninth and hitting well, but he also had a lineup to have Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado in it. Churio, when he came up, he had Willie Adames hitting behind him and Christian Yelich. James Wood is that offense. Yeah. Is that his first name, or am I
James Wood? Yeah.
James is his first name. Yeah. He is the offense there in DC. So I look at it. It's a lot of pressure on Holiday, and when you look at how bad he was last year and how much better he's been this year, I think it's a natural progression. I think for us to expect him to go from hitting 180 last year, and really that only happened the last month or so of the season where he got the average up to that, going from doing that last year to expect him to go to 275, 280 with 20 homers and 30 stolen bases this year, probably unrealistic on our end, right? But he's having a great year. He's having a great year. He's a finalist for second base for the All-Star game. But isn't it like the finalist? If you're a finalist, that means if you don't win, do you not go?
I think you could still go from coaches or players' input. It's just the fans.
But yeah. So I'm pleased with the season that Holiday's having, and I think he's only going to get better as time goes on. I have no qualms with the season that he's having right now. Did I want him to be better? Yeah, but we also said that he would become the leadoff hitter by June. He became the leadoff hitter by May, and I think he's right on track. I do. I just think he's right on track. Today's show brought to you by the latest edition of the Press Box print, which is available now. On the cover, we profile Baltimore's first ever basketball Hall of Famer, speaking to the people who knew Carmelo Anthony best about his Baltimore upbringing, about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. That's 2 weeks in a row I did that. Also inside, Bo Smokin profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green, and our annual summer travel section shows you the sports events and activities your family should check out all summer long. You can find a new issue all throughout the region, including at 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. All right, let's get to some fan comments here. Zach, I'll let you do something. I got to put in these times here real quick.
Reading some of the guys here chatting about the draft. Yeah, some of the guys like Joe Radke, Jason, Deet, and Sean Whipple, they're pretty. They stay in tune. I'm in a Discord with them. They stay pretty in tune with some of the college prospects, and they talk a lot of pitching. A lot of guys like Gage Wood stuff. He was a kid from Arkansas, I believe. I've seen the Golden Spikes winner, which is considered college's best player, which Adley won. Was a shortstop from Arkansas. I've seen him mocked to the Orioles at 19. I don't really know how that fits in the system right now, but it'd be interesting. I'm never against taking guys that are just talented. I don't care what position they play. Do they need a shortstop or do they need another position player? No. But, I mean, it's like the Ravens. Sometimes you just take the best guy available. And if you got a guy that falls in your lap who's considered the best player in the country, why not take him? That's just me.
Do you think there's any chance that they draft a pitcher in the first round?
Maybe at 30 or 31, the end of it, because they have those two comp picks. I would love to see one at 19, but if don't reach, if the guy's like ranked 30th, don't reach for it at 19. Like take the best player available. The draft's a crapshoot for baseball. It's an absolute crapshoot. You don't know what these guys are going to do 6 years from now. I mean, it's so hard.
And it's really the only league where the players that are drafted in the first round, second round, play. Like legitimately, you take a guy in the first round and you're expecting him to be part of your team in 4 years.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. If at all. Like you said, it's a complete crapshoot. How many guys get taken in the first round? Like look at Mickey Moniak. Number 1 overall pick, I think, was in 2017 with the Phillies, and he only started getting legitimate playing time last year, and then he got traded. He's been traded like 2 or 3 times already. I think he's with is he with the Rockies right now?
I think, I think so.
Because
he was with the Phillies, right?
He was with the Phillies. He got traded to the Angels.
Yeah,
and then he got traded from the Angels to the Rockies. Either that or got DFA'd, one of the two.
Yeah.
But he's with the Rockies.
He's with the Rockies now.
He got drafted by the Phillies, got traded to the Angels, and then got traded to the Rockies.
Yep. He's not doing great. He's hitting 236. He's got 11 home runs. Just 27 RBI. So it's like Ryan O'Hearn all over again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look at Joe Adell. I mean, Joe Adell was a top guy. He's just now figuring it out in year 6. He's still only 26 years old, but he's hitting 243, 18 home runs. It took a long time for that guy.
Yeah, I feel like they've been talking about Joe Adell for 10 years.
Right.
Adeep wants to know, will Morton be one of the 5 best pitchers traded? Are you trading Morton?
Yeah. I definitely think he's going to be one of the top 5. If he keeps stacking things together over the next month.
Yeah, he's been really good recently, like really good, like the last month. He had that one hiccup against the A's, but other than that, he's been really good.
Yeah.
Soto and Dominguez are unrestricted free agents after the season. Would you trade them, and what kind of value would they bring in return?
Both of them. I say that, but Dominguez I probably maybe would keep. Like I wouldn't mind Dominguez like next year. Next year I'd rather have a really, really freaking good bullpen. To where Dominguez is like your 6th inning guy, who could fill in, in a 7th or 8th inning, if a bunch of guys were down. But if your bullpen is good enough where he's in your 6th inning, that's where I want to be because I think he's pretty decent. Soto, I want to get him the hell out of here. He's okay at times, but he's just even since the back in Detroit, like he's just always been so inconsistent. You don't know who you're getting when he goes out on that mound. I don't need that anymore. Like I think we're past that. So get him out of here and get whatever you can for him. Ship him off to the Mets. They need left-handed bullpen help. Get what you can. Maybe keep Dominguez. Offer him a contract. I'd give him maybe 2 for $20. I mean, is that fair for a decent bullpen arm?
Yeah, but how decent is he? You know, like the splitter's nasty, but he walks.
Is he better than Kittredge? Kittredge got 8 or 10.
I think he got
10, didn't he?
I think he got 10. Jason Moore says, I think Sugano Morton gets traded. Eflin going IL hurts his trade value right now. Here's the thing. It's like, okay, if you're going to trade Sugano Morton and even Eflin, who's replacing him? And if you're trading Dominguez and Soto, who's replacing him?
Yeah.
You know,
so Kittredge got 10 this year. So I would give Dominguez maybe 2 for 16 then. Give him 8 a year. I think that's fair.
It's all good, well and good to say we're going to trade all these dudes. You got to replace them with somebody. Is there anybody you trust at the minor league level? And it all depends on what you get back from. But you're not going to trade these guys and get legitimate arms in return for them.
No,
and not major league ready arms. Otherwise, why are they trading for?
You get projects like Cano was.
Yeah. So when I see this team, like they've got Texas and Atlanta coming up this week. What is their schedule the rest of the way before the what's their schedule the rest of the way before we hit the trade deadline? Is the trade deadline the 31st this year, or is it a little bit later?
Yeah, they moved it back.
They moved it back to the 31st again?
July, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have Texas on the road, Atlanta on the road, the Mets at home, and Marlins at home, and then we're in the break. So you've got what, 3, 6, 9, 12? I'd go 9 and 3 right there again. Well, shit, you got the Mets. Let's see. You should take.
But the Mets just got their asses handed by the Pirates.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not gonna look into that too much. 2 out of 3 from Texas. 2 out of 3 from the Braves. It's gonna put you 4 and 2. I say you go 1 and 3 against the Mets. It could put you at 5 and 4.
What 1 and 2? You mean 1 and 2 against the Mets?
Yeah, so what's 5 and 4, and then you should sweep the Marlins, putting you at 8 and 4. What do you think about that?
So you go 8 and 4.
It should put you roughly
44 and 51.
5.5 out of the wild card, probably.
Okay.
And then it gives you, coming out of the break, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games before trade deadline.
And you're playing. You've got 3 against Tampa Bay, who you've held your own against. You've got 4 against Cleveland, who they don't hit, but they pitch.
Yeah.
Right. But they've been a disappointment, I feel like, this year.
Yeah.
And you've got Colorado.
But it's in
home.
Cleveland. God, they never play good in Cleveland.
Oh, they never play good in Cleveland. Cleveland, no matter how good the Orioles are, Cleveland always seems to manage to take 2 or 3 from them. Then you've got Colorado and Toronto heading up to the trade deadline.
I don't like that those two 12:35 and 12:35 back-to-back days. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
In the middle of the week.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't like that at all.
I guess that's a Roku game against Tampa Bay. That's 12:10 on that Sunday, the 20th. That's got to be a Roku game. They have one on that Sunday against the Braves at 11:30. They have a lot of afternoon games coming up. A lot of like mid to late afternoon or late morning to early afternoon games.
Yeah,
coming up. They have back to back. They have all 3 games in Chicago are 2:20 p.m.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
What's that about? They legitimately play from July 27th to August 3rd. They play 1 game that starts later than 2:20 p.m. out of 7. That's insane.
Yeah,
1:35, 6:35, 12:35, 12:35, 2:20, 2:20, 2:20. That's a lot of afternoon games.
Yeah, we're 16 and 21 in day games right now. I don't like that.
What do the Orioles have to do between now and the deadline to not be in buy sell mode, but to be in just buy mode?
Just buy mode?
Mm-hmm.
What did I say? We had 12 games.
After
you have to go 10 and 2. Have to. You got to make a statement to be in a buy mode.
Let's see here. What are the standings?
I don't think their pitching's capable of going 10-2.
I don't think it is.
I don't even know if they're capable of going 8-4.
Yeah,
because you don't know who you're getting. You're going to get probably a decent start out of Morton. You'll probably get a decent start out of Rogers, maybe. We don't know, so maybe there's 2, and then who's the other guy you would probably trust right about now? Dean,
maybe Kramer,
maybe, right? So he's eventually one of those 3 are bound to blow up soon anyway. Oh God, man, don't know.
There's only 6 teams above 500 in the American League. Only 6.
Dude, the American League's terrible. Like it's been there for us to take the bull by the horns, and we just can't do it.
Man, I don't know, man. Like I'm tired of trying to give myself hope for this season. Every time it feels like they're about to like make a run here, and they did, right? They
did.
won 6 games in a row, and then Adley got hurt, and it's like right when Adley was playing his best baseball in a year.
Yeah,
and
then Westberg too.
Westberg, man, he's just got to find ways. He strikes out a lot too.
Yeah.
He strikes out a lot too.
But he hits the ball too. So I mean, I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll be back tomorrow. And if he is running the base without an oven mitt on his damn hand, I'm hunting somebody down.
Yeah.
The guy's got to have that oven mitt on his hand. Any other comments that you want to get to?
Somebody said, is Perez tradable? No. Joe said that. Perez has been getting kind of pooped on.
Has he?
Yeah, he'll likely probably get released. I haven't seen if Cano has pitched much. Let's check his MLB eligibility.
What's Perez doing down in AAA?
I think when I last looked, he had like
6.23 ERA down in AAA.
Yeah, it's not good.
6.23, and then.
So Cano has made 2 minor league appearances so far, 2 innings, given up 1 run, and that being a solo home run, with 2 strikeouts. So I mean, it's okay. It's only 2 innings, so I don't know if he pitched tonight or not. I don't even know if Norfolk played tonight. Let's see.
It's a Sunday. They had to have played unless they got rained out.
Yeah, they lost 6-4 tonight. Let's see. Box score. Selby. No, I don't see Cano in here. So Perez won an inning and a third tonight. Yeah, he did well. He lowered it down to a 540. That's good to see. Selby's down to a 261. I mean, Selby's a guy. When they trade some guys, I think Selby comes back up here and finally get a good shot.
Yeah, Cano will come back up probably.
Yeah, they've got some roster flexibility with some of the guys down there. Perez maybe gets another shot. I highly doubt it. But you never know. You never know.
I mean, this team, they're up against it. They're legitimately up against it. They realistically need to go about 5-1 this coming week, and then take your chances coming home next week. Who do they play again? I already forgot when they come home next week.
So I mean, look, if you traded Morton, Roansy Contreras has a 1.02 ERA this month, in 5 starts. Mm-hmm. So I mean that's a guy that fills a rotation role for you. Just see what you got. You got Selby. Grant Wolfram has pitched well. Yarmiel Geraldo has pitched well. Chase McDermott has not. They may still give him an opportunity anyway. I don't know. You still have Matt Bauman. Kate Stroud's here. Brandon Young. They've got some guys there. Povich. I mean, you can trade some pitching away and see what you got, and see how aggressive you need to be in the offseason for pitching. But I think you need to be
I think they need to be very aggressive in the offseason and
all around.
And I think they need oh my God. What this team needs if they want to get back into contention, because you're not wasting this window. So I'm very interested to know who the manager is going to be. I think Elias is going to be the GM. But you have got to be, in my opinion, the Orioles have to be the front runner in free agency in the offseason.
Yeah.
I think that they have to spend more money than everybody else because they're wasting what was supposed to be a 10-year window with these young guys. They're wasting it. I think they've got to be a front runner in free agency in the offseason. And the fact that it's 2025, I've been saying it for 4 off seasons now, 3-4 off seasons now, that they need a middle of the order bat and they still don't have one. Yep. Like that's a travesty. How is a guy like me sitting here knowing that that's what you're missing from your lineup and you just aren't adding that player? You just aren't adding that player at all. And trying to act like Ryan Mountcastle's that dude, or Ryan O'Hearn's that dude, or now Ramon Laureano or Gary Sanchez. Tyler O'Neill was never going to be that guy. And we convinced ourselves of it because we had to, but he was never going to be that guy. Because he's played 100 plus games twice in his career. You know? I would really love if people would stop acting like Chase McDermott and Brandon Young are legit big league starters, because they're never going to be. They might be legit big league bullpen arms, but they're never going to be big league starters. Like, they just aren't. Again, the only people that are talking about those pitchers are Orioles fans and the Orioles franchise. When nobody else in baseball is talking about those guys, it tells you all you need to know.
Well, you know what sucks is both of them were top 2 in the league last year in AAA in strikeouts. Like, blowing away everyone. They didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't translate to the big league level. Dean Kramer led the minor leagues in strikeouts in 2018. You know, and he's Jekyll and Hyde every other start, it feels like. So today's show has been brought to you by Football versus Football. Calling all athletes and families, don't miss Football versus Football, a free sports and wellness festival Saturday, July 19th from 10 to 6 at Baltimore Peninsula. Meet retired players, other former NFL stars. Meet retired Ravens, other former NFL stars and pro soccer players. Join youth sports clinics, get free health screenings, and enjoy food, music, and family fun. Powered by United Healthcare, presented by Sports Legacy Group, and supported by University of Maryland Orthopedics and 1-800-GAMBLER. You have anything else to add today?
No. Nope.
All right. Would McDermott, Young, and either Fabian or Beavers be enough for Keller?
Probably.
I'm not getting rid of Beavers, though.
I don't like Keller. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I have to look into him more. I've looked into him once or twice, and I just never really liked him.
He had a great first half. I think it was in 2022. He got paid for it, but he's been a middling starter since then. His ERA is like high 3s, low 4s.
Keeps the ball in the ballpark. I'll give him that. Doesn't walk many guys.
He's a solid 3 on most teams. And I think, in my opinion, he's a 4 on a really good
I would take him as a 4 on our team. If 5. I'll take him as a 5.
If you tell me that next year Kyle Bradish is Kyle Bradish, Grayson Rodriguez stays healthy.
You need an ace in there. You gave me Framber Valdez as your ace, Kyle Bradish is your number 2, Grayson is your number 3, and then Mitch Keller is your number 4. I think I'd be pretty happy. And then Dean Kramer's your 5.
I think that Kyle Bradish is a legit ace. I do. I think.
But somebody just in
he
case
should have been. But I mean, like, I would take Keller in my rotation, but I do not take Keller in my rotation if he's a 1.
Don't treat him like Zach Eflin this year.
Exactly, because you saw as soon as Zach Eflin gets hurt, and when he comes back, like, he's not that guy. Yeah. And we said at the beginning of the year, we were talking about the injuries to this team and expecting Dean Kramer to be somebody who he's never been, which is a consistent number 2. Expecting Grayson Rodriguez to not get hurt at some point. Expecting Kyle Bradish to come back and hit the ground running. Expecting Eflin to do something that he's never done in his career, which is have 3 consecutive seasons of 28-plus starts. You're setting yourself up for failure, and you failed. That's why you're 11 games under 500 at the end of June. You know, so the Orioles have a lot of work to do if they want to be a true contender next year. A lot of almost an insurmountable climb if they want to contend this year. It's just the further we get into the season, the more they continue to play to just tread water, which is what they've done for a month now, treading water. What are they? 20-19 with Tony Manzolino as their manager.
I could ask StatMuse, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be wrong. So
I know that he was 19-18 going into. He was 19-18 going into Friday's game, and then they won that. So he's
21-18.
He's 21-18. 21. I think he's 21-19.
StatMuse could be wrong again. Who knows?
StatMuse. So 21 and 18.
Oh, you know what? So I always do it from the 18th. I never count the day that High was fired. I always go the day after. Oh. That's probably why.
So in 40 games, he's 21-19, which is fine, but that's treading water. When your team was 18 games below 500 at one point, 21-19, playing 500 ball every week, that's just going to make you not lose 100 games. It's not going to get you back into contention. So if they want to get back in the contention, they got to start rattling off some 5-1, 5-6, and some 5-1, 4-2 weeks in a row. 4-2 is not good enough at this point, you know. So all right, that's going to do it for us here on the Bat Around. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you, we don't have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, viewers, fans. Without you, we absolutely do not have a show. Thank you to Zach, as always, for taking time out on a Sunday night. Until next week, see ya.